Let's go. Good morning. It's Ayikaile Davy, your financial power coach here. I'm so excited to share with you 3 lies that are keeping ambitious women financially stuck. I'm so excited to just get on here and just dispel some myths, some ways of thinking that are really blocking the financial progress of otherwise high achieving, high showing up, and succeeding ladies. So let's get right into it. The first lie is this: I'm too late. So I've come across, after working with hundreds of people and women in particular, that deep down, they feel like they've missed the boat. They feel like they started way too late. Good morning, Tilda. They feel like, you know what? It's almost like when there's an opportunity and everyone jumps on it and you feel like you were just late to the party. So there's this, what I look at as a lie, that I've started too late. I started too late to save. I started too late to get out of debt. And I don't want to resign myself to this lesser experience, but I feel like I just missed the boat. So let me help out with that a little bit. And I have this idea that when we're thinking of late, that in itself indicates there's a starting point and an ending point, right? So what is really the starting point and ending point when it comes to our financial lives and well-being? So I thought of this, and I love sports. So basketball, in terms of coming up with an analogy, was the closest thing I thought of when trying to communicate this. So think about, I'll say, Michael Jordan. He was my favorite basketball player growing up. And I would say the greatest who's ever played the game. So when you think of Michael Jordan and you're thinking of a basketball game, which Michael Jordan would you love to be on your team? Is it Michael Jordan when he was, let's say, 23 and, his prime? Or let's say 53-year-old Michael Jordan, if you're trying to win a basketball game? So I think it's a no-brainer. People are going to choose the Michael Jordan in his prime. On the Bulls, winning those 6 championships, yes, good. Now, when it comes to a game, though, what was the starting point and ending point of that? A basketball player's career usually does extend just 10 years or so. So that's that. So when you compare that to when we're looking at our financial game, and that's always how I try to look at this money game, is it is just a game. There's rules, and you're either winning or losing. So when does our when does our time start financially with our game? And I look at it as young as we're 12 years old and get our allowance, or even further back when we're born. We're either inheriting or not inheriting. So we can really look at this game of financially as extending through our lifetimes and even beyond our lifetime. And when you approach it with that view, you're not able to start too late because it's extending, it's ongoing, and wherever you are today is going to impact your experience in living. And that's just the bottom line. So you may be hearing that and really still not accepting that the money game is not like a basketball player's game where it's like, okay, 10 years, you begin and you end. So why not look at it from this perspective? Let's say if you are 60 years old today, April 28th, 2021, right? Now, the life expectancy today of women right now is right at 80 years. It's like at 80.5, right? So let's say if you're 60 today and you have 80 years to live on this planet. So that's 20 years, right? So if you're 60 years old and you are in debt, you have no cushion of savings for emergencies, and you're stressed, you're worried, you're arguing with your partner or spouse about money, if you adopt the belief that you've started too late and you still have 20 years of life to go, where does that lead you? So what I offer you to do instead is look at the 20 years ahead, or however many years, God willing, are ahead, even if you don't even plan to leave a legacy. Let's say you're just focusing on 20 more years of living. You're not too late, because that's 20 years that you can change from being in debt. You can change from having no savings to having a cushion of savings. And not just that, having your financial power sooner than later translates to not struggling, not being stressed out, not being on edge when you're talking to your kids because you're stressed out about how to pay the bills. It translates into 20 years where you can have financial peace of mind. You can get to create a 20 years of an ideal lifestyle, right? Maybe you'll publish that book that you've been putting off. Maybe you'll launch that business that you've been putting off. So starting too late is a lie. And it's because our money game extends during our lifetime and beyond our lifetime. So those who are moms who have children, whatever you learn or get to, embody in terms of your financial power doesn't just impact you. It's going to impact your children, even if they've already become adults. It's going to impact your grandchildren, where they can see your hot Nana going out and being able to enjoy her life and be like, wow, I want to be like Nana when I grow up. You don't know your reach. Your reach is really limitless. Your impact is really limitless. And when you look at your influence as being not just, oh man, I didn't start saving when I was 20, so let me just throw in the towel. I didn't start stashing away for my retirement, when I was 30 and 40, so let me just throw in the towel. I'll just manage and do the best I can. I'm telling you that it's a lie, and there's an opening when you look at your influence in terms of being not only your lifetime or beyond your lifetime. So if you're sitting there saying, well, I don't have children, it's just me. You don't know who you influence. Again, you don't know who's looking up to you and calling you auntie and saying, wow, auntie's got her stuff together, right? You don't know that person. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's a coworker's child. When you have your finances in order, you're able to set someone else's trajectory in a different path. So like I said, if you're 60 and you're going to 80, that's 20 years where you could either have an upward trajectory, or you're just coasting by, or it can get even worse if you don't take action. So that's the first lie that I wanted to just dispel and get some clarity for people around. All right, so when I think of something else, when I'm always looking at the patterns between the people that I work with and who are able to achieve just tremendous outcomes, and those who I speak with who still end up being stuck. So one big difference I noticed too is surrounding debt. Debt, debt, debt. Yes. So a lot of Americans, we're drowning in debt because it's been made readily available to access, credit cards, personal loans, mortgages, and people end up getting in over their head. That's the bottom line, right? So a lie that I want to dispel is that if today a magic wand was waved and all your debt were to go away, it's a lie that's going to solve all your financial problems. And here's why. The person who still got into debt is going to remain, okay? So what I mean by that is debt is not your enemy. Debt actually is only a symptom. Debt is usually just a symptom of a management of behaviors, attitudes, and ways of money management that just didn't work out to that person's benefit. And so catching up and just putting 100% focus on, oh man, I got to pay this off as quickly as possible and I'll be free, right? I feel like a lot of women are there where they're just like, oh man, if this administration just gets rid of my student loan debt, I'm in the clear. That's not all of it though. I've met people with multiple bankruptcies. I've met people who've gone through multiple foreclosures, right? So having a magic wand, release your debt today is not going to solve your financial problems. It's not going to help you get rid of worry about what do you do next? What happens if your debt goes away? What if you still struggle with cash flow management? Let's say you still are a shopaholic and you never address that. It's just going to be a temporary band-aid for what I would look at as a gunshot wound if you just get rid of the debt and don't do anything else. So what I offer to those who are feeling like they're drowning in debt, feeling like they do have a laser focus on wanting to get rid of debt, is that that's not the full picture. The full picture is going to be addressing those attitudes, behaviors, and ways of being with your money, with your confidence in managing your money, that's really going to change your comprehensive financial standing and create financial stability for you. So the women that I look at who actually get out of debt, there's a lot of, you know how sometimes you'll notice a person, maybe it's a girlfriend, maybe it's someone who always seems to attract the same type of guy. And it's like, they're always like, oh man, why do I always get stuck with these losers? Why do I always seem like I attract these losers, right? So there is a pattern that usually is behind a lot of the getting into debt and reasons for even carrying debt, that when those aren't addressed, you end up right back. And even with the most certain intentions, getting out of those patterns can be very difficult if the pattern is not addressed. All right, because it's usually not about the money. The money is actually the easy part. It's about the person behind the management of the debt, the management of the money. So waving a magic wand and getting rid of your debt is not the solution. The real solution is to harness your financial power and gain the confidence to manage your money well, to make financial decisions, to get out of confusion and worry around making money and how to manage it. So that's number two. Number three that I notice, this is a one that doesn't really show up on the surface in terms of playing out to, oh, it doesn't talk about savings or doesn't, yes, Tilda, I do. And we can talk about a solution and resources that I can help you with about money management, because that's exactly what I help people to do. So the third lie, and I'll share that, and this may help too, Tilda, is that when I speak to women, many of the times when we really get deep into discovering and uncovering what's happening, there's this belief that it's just not in me. I don't have what it takes to manage money well. And on the surface, just in a conversation with anyone, they're not really thinking that and thinking that that's where they're operating from. But when I've gotten women to really just look at what's happening, I've heard the phrase, it's not in my destiny to manage money well. I don't have what it takes to do this money thing. I'm not good with numbers. So there's probably a limit on how far I can go financially. It's just not in me. So if you're sitting with yourself and you even suspect for a moment that that is maybe something that you struggle with, or maybe even feel like you have insecurity about when it comes to money, I'm here to share with you that it is a lie as well. Know this, money management is a skill, it's behaviors, And it's a mindset and approach to finances. So money management and managing well and wealth and accumulation and prosperity, what it's not are your DNA. It's not based on your genes. No one is born a money expert. I'll say that again. No one is born with, there's no DNA code to be a money expert. All that being a person who does well financially and comparing them to someone who doesn't do well is behaviors, training, mindset, outlook, abundance, prosperity, and operating from that instead of someone that has continued patterns from, let's say, childhood, generational patterns that aren't broken. So the special thing is, even if you're that 60-year-old who you used to think that it was too late, but you no longer do after this video, when you come to maybe another bump in the road that it may not be in you, I want you to just embody that it's a skill, just like playing a piano is a skill. It is a skill just like playing basketball is a skill. And the difference, though, is there is no physicality with it, where yes, if you have a certain physicality, you'll be better at certain sports. If you have a certain, let's say, artistic expression, that even can be attributed some towards genetic expression. But money management is not that. It's a learned training to where it becomes habitual and to the point where your success financially is inevitable, actually. It's actually inevitable when you begin to embody your financial power, your true financial power, and it's there for all of us. It's not just segmented off for a few, even if you look at sometimes the way we are in this capitalistic nation where you do see the haves and have-nots. But I do want to share with you that it's still a choice in terms of where you are today and making a decision that you do want to learn the skills. You have no choice but to learn the skills for your next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and God willing, even more time. And then if you are concerned with impact, legacy, even extending beyond your life, what would it do for you to really harness your true financial power? So I'm really hoping that I've been able to help in terms of dispelling those ideas. No longer for you to think that it's too late. No longer for you to think that debt is your real enemy. No longer for you to think that it's not in you to be better financially. So I leave you with that. Please share your comments. Please share your experiences if you have any input or feedback on anything that I've shared. And if you find yourself today where you may have believed some of those lies that I just dispelled, and you're looking for a chance, an opportunity to turn it all around, we should talk. I offer a money masterclass, which I'd be happy to share the link in the chat too. It's a nice summary of the real 5 key traits that I see between those who achieve financially, no matter where they start from, and those who still stay stuck. So that masterclass I offer as a resource, and I'll leave a link in the chat for that. If you happen to have already watched the masterclass and you related to it, you got it, you understood it, and you're wanting to see what type of solutions are available for you to get out of debt, get out of struggling, get out of not having a financial cushion, I invite you to book a money breakthrough call. I'll leave the link to that as well in the chat. And it's mastermindmillions.com/call. And what we do on this money breakthrough call is basically get to a point where we can see what's happening right now in your finances. Then we'll look at where you want to go. And if I can help you get there, I'll share with you what that would look like. And if anything else is a better solution, I can direct you to that too. So no matter what, you can get some concrete steps in terms of what to do next. no matter where you are and what you want to decide for your next day, month, year, and many years to come. So love that you joined today. Tilda, thank you for being here. And I look to connecting again sometime soon. So take care. Bye.